Between 250 and 900 AD, a sprawling civilization thrived across the dense jungles of what is now Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. Millions of people lived in deeply connected, densely populated city-states built around massive stone pyramids. They engineered a highly complex society, complete with a fully functional hieroglyphic writing system carved directly into their monuments. Maya astronomers and mathematicians mapped the stars and developed calendar systems that were far more accurate than those of many contemporary empires around the globe. Then, in the span of just a few generations, these millions of citizens walked away from their largest urban centers. The jungle quickly moved in, aggressively covering the empty stone plazas and completely swallowing towering stairways under thick green vines. A society at the absolute peak of its scientific and architectural capability broke down rapidly, leaving behind empty ruins. In 2026, researchers mapping the Mexican jungle peered through the dense canopy and found a completely untouched ancient city called Minanbé. Unlike most major sites that were looted over the centuries, Minanbé is almost perfectly preserved, giving archaeologists a clear look at a city frozen right on the edge of the collapse. For decades, historians debated what caused the entire region to fail so quickly, looking for evidence of a sudden plague, a massive earthquake, or a foreign invasion. The artifacts at Minanbé point to something much more complex. The collapse was a cascading chain of systemic failures. In the 8th and 9th centuries, the Maya agricultural system relied entirely on predictable, seasonal rains to grow enough food for their massive populations. Paleoclimatology, the study of past climates using physical evidence, reveals that during this exact period, a series of severe, prolonged droughts hit Central America. This graph illustrates carrying capacity. The Maya population rises steadily, hitting a horizontal line, representing the land's maximum food production. But decades of deforestation erased their ecological buffer. When droughts hit, carrying capacity drops steeply, leaving the population dangerously stranded above it. Without enough rain, the crops failed season after season, leading to widespread, devastating starvation. A shift in climate initiated the crisis, but the drought proved fatal because the civilization had already stretched its infrastructure past the breaking point. Compounding the resource shortage was the political reality of the time. The Maya shared a culture, but they were ruled by dozens of fractured, intensely competitive god-kings. One specific monument found at Minanbe, carved in 849 AD, clearly depicts a regal Maya leader holding a blade directly over a kneeling, defeated captive. Rather than cooperating to share what little food and water remained, the city-states escalated their brutal wars to secure shrinking land and elevate their own prestige. This circular flowchart breaks down the deadly feedback loop that followed. Severe starvation triggered wars for resources, which forced farmers to become soldiers, pulling essential labor away from agriculture, which only worsened the starvation. Unable to feed or protect their people, rulers lost their divine authority. Temple construction stopped completely, and citizens abandoned the cities. The system fell apart because leadership chose violent political competition instead of cooperative survival during an environmental emergency. There is a persistent myth that the Maya people simply vanished into thin air. The god-kings lost their power, and the massive stone palaces and temples were left empty. But the millions of citizens who lived there migrated and adapted to new environments. Today, millions of Maya descendants still live across Central America. They carried their languages, their intricate weaving techniques, and their cultural traditions through the centuries, keeping them alive for over 1,000 years. The political and architectural institutions of the Classic period collapsed, but the Maya population proved resilient. The empty cities in the jungle leave a clear record. High-level scientific achievement cannot protect a society when environmental disaster meets deep political division.